Almost everyone has heard of the SIM Card Registration Act when President Duterte vetoed the bill last month, with the reason that the inclusion of social media providers in the registration requirement was not part of the original version of the bill. Hi, this is Abel Anders of Yucatec, and today we are going to explain to you everything we know about the SIM Card Registration Bill that led to its untimely demise. Did you know that the idea of SIM card registration started all the way back in 2004 during the 13th Congress when Senator Rodolfo Biazon filed Senate Bill 1304, or an act requiring the registration of prepaid SIM card users. This was again reintroduced by Senator Loren Regarda in the 16th Congress. It was only in the 18th Congress did it go as far as the President's signature, that signature that will make it into a law. But sadly, it was vetoed. According to GSMA, more or less 157 nations around the world have mandated SIM card registration laws as of 2021. The Philippines is one of the remaining few countries which have yet to implement a similar policy. It is also one of two nations across the entire Asian continent to have no SIM card registration law in effect, the other country being Israel. Everybody else already has mandated SIM card registration. The SIM Card Registration Act, paired with the National ID System or the PhilSys, is seen as the foundation for a more effective means to ascertain identities, combat cybercrime, and ensure national security, among other goals. The current SIM Card Registration Act is the consolidated version of House Bill 5793 and Senate Bill 2395. Initially, the proposals forwarded since time immemorial have been largely limited to SIM cards. But even in this form, the proposed legislation could be potent enough to enter other areas of digital living. For instance, mobile phone numbers are usually included in registration of accounts, may it be your bank account, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. A lot of third parties already have records of people's phone numbers associated with their personal identities. The mobile wallet company GCash has an average of 51 million users in the Philippines as of the end of October 2021. Add to that the more than 38 million PayMaya users. When you combine both GCash and PayMaya users, that's already more than half of the country's population that are already identified with their SIM cards. So yes, Filipinos are already comfortable with the fact that they are required to register their personal identity with their SIM cards. Even our own internal survey among over 5,000 Yucatec readers, about 60% are in favor of SIM card registration and 25% are in favor of both SIM card and social media registration. Only 13% are actually against SIM or social media registration. That's curious. It was Section 4 of the consolidated version that we saw SIM card registration being linked to social media registration. And we quote, Section 4, SIM card and social media accounts registration. In order to deter the proliferation of SIM card, internet, or electronic communication-aided crimes, such as, but not limited to, terrorism, text scams, unsolicited, indecent, or obscene images, bank fraud, libel, anonymous online defamations, trolling, hate speech, spread of digital information or fake news as defined under pertinent laws, all PTEs shall provide the registration of SIM cards as prerequisite to the sale or activation thereof, in accordance with the guidelines set forth under this Act. Similarly, all social media providers shall require real-time and phone number upon creation of account. That last line, all social media providers shall require real-time and phone number upon creation of account, was most concerning. This is the provision that convinced the President to veto the bill. And we quote Secretary Andanar when he said the inclusion of social media providers in the registration requirement was not actually part of the original version of the bill. In addition to the need for more thorough study, the President observed that the measure may threaten constitutional rights and result to dangerous state intrusion without providing proper guidance and definition. For example, people who thrive in their alter egos online, such as bloggers, streamers, influencers, and YouTubers, will be forced to divulge their personal information for compliance. The inclusion of internet or electronic communication may also expand infinitely the potential applications of this proposed legislation. Think of email addresses, online forums, Discord servers, and perhaps games and related entertainment platforms. How many people use their real names in these situations? You're basically bidding goodbye to online anonymity. Senator Drilon, in his reaction to the veto by the President, laments, "The President lets trolls thrive, spread lies and hate, and fuel discord and division. This veto is meant to protect trolls." As to the lack of safeguards, Drilon also adds, "There were enough safeguards. Unfortunately, the veto is nothing but to protect troll operators and troll armies. Some of them are in Malacanang." The penalty for using fictitious accounts? Imprisonment of at least 6 years, a fine of up to 200,000 pesos or both. In comparison, this is longer jail time than what is mandated for libel, which is just 4 years and 2 months maximum. This does not include the possibility of being compounded with penalties from other laws, such as the Cybercrime Prevention Act. The intent and purpose of trying to eliminate illegal activities enabled by mobile phones, the internet, or other electronic communication-aided crimes is noble. However, the bill is deeply flawed. It contains provisions that are overly vague, violates constitutional guarantees of freedom of expression, freedom of association, personal privacy, and endangers the safety of Filipino citizens and children, said Democracy.net, the PH, one of the groups which have raised concerns regarding the effects of the SIM Card Registration Act. To be fair, the legislative measure does appear to derive from noble intentions. Besides what is already stated on what it is trying to prevent, the proposal also has a confidentiality clause for providers. This means providers may be punished as well if disclosure of information is not in accordance with existing laws, such as the Data Privacy Act. Of course, the question on how to uphold confidentiality and privacy may be another matter of discussion altogether. Still, lawmakers have expressed their support for the passage of the SIM Card Registration Act despite the veto. Senator Franklin Drilon said the measure is constitutional. The bill does not in any way limit speech. It does not curtail one's ability to post on social media. This is not designed to suppress any particular message. Senator Grace Poe also adds, each day without the safeguards from the measure makes our people vulnerable to rip-offs that take away their money and cause them anxiety. The onslaught of cybercrimes and fake news that tear away the fabric of our democracy. Our laws and jurisprudence confirms that freedom of expression is not absolute, as in the case of obscenity, libel, or when public safety and order are at stake. This one is from Senator Soto. That means I can get 2/3 of the vote of the Senate to overturn it. Ang problema ngayon, we need the imprimatur of the President for the House to overturn also. And we can ask the Supreme Court to declare it unconstitutional. But then again, the prepaid SIM cards must be registered already because that is part of the law. It will become a law minus the provision na ayaw ng Malacanang. Other lawmakers meanwhile saw that it might be wiser to separate the registration of SIM cards and social media accounts. This path, however, may ensure that the SIM Card Registration Act would not be signed anytime soon. Senator Gatchalian says, ito ang isa sa mga una kong ihahain pag tayo ay nakabalik sa Senado. Pero ihiwalay ko ang panukala para sa social media para mas malalim at mas komprehensibo ang detalye pagdating sa pagmamandato nito. Aminado ako na ang social media ay magagamit ngayon sa maraming hindi magagandang bagay. Unang-una, yung mga troll. Ako mismo na biktima. Aatakihin ka at sisirain ang puri mo. Senator Lacson also adds, it could be violative of the one subject, one title rule as defined under the 1987 Constitution, not to mention the absence of safeguards or guidelines in the said provision, not even covered by the title of the measure itself. Representative Wes Gatchalian also adds there is nothing in the bill specifying clear guidelines in how to register in such a broad environment, though equally important, that provision should have been studied further and filed under a separate bill. Perhaps every innovation would sooner or later have to pass through the test of regulation. The Philippines, which made a quantum leap from low levels of telephone coverage to near universal phone access, remains one of the last strongholds in the world where SIM card registration remains unimplemented. Not all kinds of regulation, however, cultivates innovation to further develop. Whenever this attempt at regulating mobile phones and also in extension internet use would be beneficial moving forward, we may only be able to fully realize the repercussions in the future. For the meantime, we have to deal with what we have and anticipating its impact on everyone, and remain hopeful that the course that we are currently taking would be for the best. What do you guys think? Do we really need the SIM card registration law? Does the benefits outweigh the risks of abuse? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, go and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to be updated of future videos like this one. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, IG, and TikTok, or visit yugatech.com for more tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Abe, and I will see you next time.